Welcome back to Live Off Your Backyard. It's now December 1st and we're located here just north of Toronto in Zone 5B. Winter's starting to set in pretty good here, and we've already had our first few snowfalls of the season. But we're inside here today and trying to keep warm. So there's a few things I want to go over. First is light selection, and where your planter beds are going to be situated throughout the winter months. Now, what you can see here is we started growing some beans near our south-facing window. We have the blinds drawn a little bit here just because we're trying to film, but you can see that they have not done very well at all. They started to produce some beans, but they haven't gone much farther than that, and the one simple reason is it's kind of cold by the window, and then the other thing is just the lack of sunlight. We're getting near our winter solstice, which means it is the shortest time of year for daylight. From December 21st on, it's only going to get longer, and it's going to be a little more successful growing near a window at that point. As we move over here to our grow station that we have constructed in the workshop earlier, you can see our beans are doing much better. Nice color on them. They've been growing now for probably about a month and a half, so they're starting to get a little bit tired, and we're going to clip some of them out later on today, and I'm going to show you that. But you can tell the difference between the two. Now, if we come down here, you can see our radishes. These guys were planted on October 21st, and they're doing quite well. I have some on another table. They haven't done so well. They haven't been in front of the light the same. They've been kind of more filtered light off to the side, so they're not doing so well. But I'd like to take a nice example here. These were planted about the first week of October, and this is an example of lighting and the height of the light and how close it has to be to the plants. So we're going to come down here and take a look at these ones, and they were planted about a week later, and they've been at the proper distance away from the grow light. You can see the noticeable difference in it, and this was planted planted on October 21st, and they're doing quite well down here. We're about 3 or 4 inches away from the light. These are just full spectrum fluorescent lights. I just picked them up at a local grow store. They're doing quite well. You can see the lettuce and our radishes are doing nicely down here also. Our spinach is starting to grow. We have some celery planted at the same time. It takes a little bit longer to grow, but it's doing quite nice also. But as we come back up here, I'd just like to show you how far away we are from the plants. We're about 2 feet away, which is obviously too far because you can tell the grow difference from up top to down below. So it's important to keep everything at the same level height. Things that are going to grow, say they're going to grow 12 inches tall, we want to keep everything together. It's going to work a little bit better. Alright, so one thing that I want to do here is I've started about a week ago, I put a couple extra little seeds in beside these already growing bean plants, and from my experience, they get to be a little bit tired after a little while, and you can just see these guys. I mean, they still have some buds left that are going to be, oops, maybe not. There's a bud right there. So it still is going to produce a few more beans off of it, but from my experience, they're never quite as good and fresh after after you've gotten a few crops off them, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I've already gotten this one started. He's getting quite big, and I'm going to give him some more room to grow. So we're just going to snip this guy off for now. And I'm only going to do these to half the pots here, just because I want to see how well this is actually going to work. So what we have is fiberglass stakes here, and I've just tied them up to it using my tape gun. And so I'm just going to gently cut off the ties because we don't want to cut the new stem that's coming up here. Oops, so we got one more little guy. We're just going to snip him off. So then what we're going to do is tie this new growth. We're going to tie him up to the stake today. And you can see the beans are coming out, but they're not coming out big anymore. And that was one of the big things that made me decide that I want to get rid of these guys. Sorry, you can see that okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's just clip this out of the way. And then I'm going to keep an eye on these other two here. I'm going to let them grow just a little bit longer, and just to make sure that my decision was right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my tape gun and I'm going to tie these up right now. So this is just a tape gun that we use in the nursery all the time. It's for tying up plants to stakes. You put the stake around it, you pull it, and holds it on. It's pretty simple. We got to make sure that we don't pinch the tree or the plant doing this, but it'll just help them grow up nice and straight because we are limited on space indoors. And it puts a little staple in it for you. And as it grows, we're going to keep adding them to keep them tight to the stake. And that's about it.